I like to start off this vlog showing you guys, since I'm just hanging out at a park across the street. This is Prince's house, or was Prince's house. Paisley Park. This is where he lived. It looks like a warehouse. What is up, everybody? It is now November in Minnesota. It's freezing here. This is when the temperatures start to plummet. It's always right after Halloween. I hope everyone had a good Halloween. I hung out with my sister. I drove out to her house and we went to this little light show. That was pretty cool. And then we watched a movie, Fear of Rain it's called. If you've ever heard of it, this girl is suffering from mental illness and she witnesses a crime and you have to try to figure out if that's real or not. Some stuff she's seeing is real and some stuff isn't, and you don't know until the end, so it's kind of like very psychological, but I liked it, so I recommend. In theme of this Halloween that just happened, last week something scary happened to me. I encountered a deranged man, so I'll go into a little bit about that. So as some of you may know, I do DoorDash, so that's kind of my side job. I use it to save up money, whether for a trip or to pay off something. That's just kind of what DoorDash is for me. I definitely enjoy just jamming to my music and doing whatever. Look at this view though. But an encounter happened that was not very good. So I was dashing around. I had about 45 minutes till it got dark. I had made $60 in 3 hours. I was satisfied with what I made, and I was like, all right, maybe I'll just do a couple more orders. Once it gets dark, I'm going home. Like, that's when I call it quits. But I got an order, and it was like this 4-part order, but it was all from Walmart, from 4 different people, right? And I would pick them all up at the same time, deliver it to the houses, and it was for like $32 or something. If you're picking it all up from the same place, that's pretty good. So I accepted the order, not knowing what I was getting myself into. So I get to Walmart, I walk in, I'm like, hey, so I'm here for DoorDash orders, like, what do I do? And they're just like, you actually go to the side of the building to do pickups now, and they'll bring it out to your car. I'm like, this is awesome, sweet. So I pull into one of the stations to pick up my order, and they say, call this number. So I call the number, no one answers. I call again, no one answers. Call again, no one answers. So it seemed like it was pretty busy. All the other lanes were filled up with people picking up orders. So I got out of my car and I was just like, hey, to one of the workers, I was like, hey, no one's answering the phone. I was just wondering if I could have help with getting this order, just saying that I'm there. And he's like, we're busy right now. I'm like, all right. So I got back in the car. I called the number for the 4th time. They finally answered. And they're like, all right, someone will be with you shortly. So someone came out there and I told them the 4 people that I had the orders for. So it had been about a half hour at this point. Flash forward another 25 minutes. I finally get my stuff. So they're about to put it all in my car and I'm like, hey, there's everything labeled so I know where each person goes. And I'm like, yeah, we always do that. We would not do that. So they put it all in my car. I start backing out. I see that there's nothing labeled. It would be one thing if each bag had items that was for one person, right? 4 different bags, whatever. I didn't even have that. I had like 7 different bags. I don't blame DoorDash. It's not their fault at all. But they don't tell me exactly what items each person has. So I can see the number they have. I think there was an order. There's one that was 8, 2 that were 1, and 1 that was 2. But there's a bag of 3. There was 2 bags of 2 stuff. There was 2 things not in bags. There was 3 bags with only 1 item. So I'm like, there's no way of me figuring this out. So I get out of my car. I'm like, hey, can you please help me figure this out? I need to know which each person has, because I'm not going to know what I'm delivering to these people. And they try to look it up. Another half hour goes by. They're like, sorry, it's not in our system anymore. So you're gonna have to just figure it out. At this point, I was stressed out. It was dark out. I was so miserable. I just wanted to go home so bad. This is the point where I should have just contacted DoorDash, explained the situation, gotten out of there safely, and just ended it right there. But me being the good Samaritan, I was like, oh, I will just go to this person's house. So it says the first person had 8 items. So I'm like, one of these bags I know is for sure theirs. So I'm gonna go to their house with this bag, explain the situation, and just say, hey, what other items do you have? Because if I can eliminate that 8 order, then I'll only have 4 items left. Then it'll be easier to figure out, right? So I get to the first person's house and I ring the doorbell. This is where things get bad. No one answers the door, but I look to the left of me in the front window and there's a man who has his, like, the curtain pulled and he's staring at me like this. And then as soon as I see him, he shuts the blinds. Maybe a solid 40 seconds later, he opens the door and I'm like, I'm here with your DoorDash order. I explain the situation, everything. He's like, what are you gonna do about it? And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, what are you gonna do about it? He slams the door, locks it, goes back to his window and stares at me like this again. So I'm like, all right, I need to go. At this point, I was so stressed out. I was so miserable. I just wanted to go home so bad. So I get in my car, I pull like a house down so I can call DoorDash and be like, hey, I can't do these orders. Walmart messed up. There's someone not mentally stable right now and I don't feel safe. I don't know what's going on. So I'm on the phone with DoorDash. They're having some trouble understanding me. Just a language barrier thing, you know, that happens. We just kept communicating. The lady was so nice. She did eventually figure things out and try to figure out how I could get refunded for these orders, right? So we're in the process of that, and all of a sudden I see the man running through his yard with a flashlight, pacing back and forth. Okay, I need to get safely away from the situation. So what I do is I drive to the end of the block, which is 4 or 5 houses down, on the phone with this lady, just figuring this out, because I'm like, this was the first delivery address. I know that for 100% fact. Looked at the house numbers, identical. So I'm talking to her, figuring stuff out. I decide to look at my mirror to see like the back view. The man is standing at my bumper, just like this, just like expressionless, staring at me. He had followed me down the block. And as soon as I turned my head to look at him, he bolts off back down the block and into his yard. So at this point, I was like, I'm done. I drive off completely far away from the situation. This amazing lady at DoorDash figured it out, saved my day. Not only did I get paid for that order, I got paid to go back all the way to Walmart to return all the items. So that was my little in danger horror story that happened last week. So yeah, I mean, life happens. I don't know why things happen the way they do, but I'm just glad I'm safe. And look at this water. It's November 1st, everybody. So if you can learn anything from my little story, if you know something isn't right or you feel something isn't right, get out of the situation. Stay safe. Your safety is the most important thing. Don't try to always be the good person just to please everyone. Just do what's best for you, because a lot of times you need to do that in order to protect yourself from the world. So thank you guys for watching. I love you guys. Thanks for listening to my little story time. I will see you soon.